Hey there, true believers. You're tuned into Baskerville Radio via the Negative Zone feed, and you are listening to episode 62 of the Fantastic Four Fancast. My name is Nate Charles. I am your host, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, the incredible Shane Murray. How you doing tonight, Shane?
Tired, but otherwise all right. How about yourself?
Also tired. I came back from vacation, immediately threw myself back into overtime. So, where are we at? As they say, no rest for the wicked. So I'm just trying to balance work and this show really at this point. It's going all right. I did sleep all day. I woke up an hour before we recorded and read our book and wrote our format. So it's fairly easy going stuff today. But what have you been up to?
Man, not a lot. Just mostly going to work and coming home. This summer's been killer on me. I did go to a concert last week
Oh, who was
up in New
playing?
York. Took Freya to see Ella Langley. So her first show was a sellout show up there, and it was a good time. Did not disappoint. A little over 14,000 people. Basically, you had to stand or you weren't seeing the show. The times when she asked the crowd to sing along, there was a time where crowd was so loud she couldn't, even with the mic, get over top of the crowd. It took her like four verses to get back in control.
So what's
It
the
was
uh what's the age range of people going to see?
Ella Langley.
Yeah.
So the couple in front of us were grandparents. Next to us, I had an older couple next to us. Next to Freya, she had a mom and her daughter that was probably right around Freya's age. A lot of, I want to say 20 to 26-year-old college girls. That would be the vast majority of the crowd.
Okay. But Freya had a good time.
Freya had a blast. She had a little bit of a problem with the sniper. So, because of where the society we live in now, at the big shows, there's always snipers, there's always SWAT team, whatever. So, she noticed the sniper on top of the building, and she kept looking over her shoulder for until darkness came. I'm like, they're not leaving. They're gonna stay there until the show's over, because that's what they get paid to do.
Plus, they're big Ella Langley fans.
Maybe, but yeah, that's a really cool thing. Like the way that place works is you have to walk onto it because you have to walk to it. There's no like parking right by it except for the college it's right by it because it goes right up to the one Finger Lake that it's attached to or something like that. So parking's at a premium. Interesting place.
Sounds like it. It's been a while since I've been to any concerts. I think the last one I went to was with you.
Was with me?
Yeah. I think it was when we went to see Death Clock and Baby Metal.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That was Baby Metal was so great.
Yeah. If any of the true
Yeah.
believers have not checked out Baby Metal, you're doing yourself a disservice.
I have one on Thursday coming up. So,
And which one's that?
Foo Fighters, Queens of Stone Age.
I am super jealous.
And then I have one a week after. I've-
And who was that, Shane?
That's Zach Top. He's in his early 20s, and all of his songs sound like the most 90s country radio songs you could ever think of. He doesn't have a huge discography, so he does random 90s country covers in the middle of his sets. And it's never the same. It's like random ones.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he that's the PPL arena in Allentown. So like he's niche. He's a niche country guy, let's put it that way.
All right, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Unlike Ella Langley, who literally won every gosh dang award you can win in country music and has been number one on the Billboard chart for 15 weeks in a row. So she's up there with Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston in length of her song being at number one.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, I know it's somewhere in the top five songs with that's not a Christmas song, like or a holiday song for being there that long. I thought that was crazy too.
Yeah, wow. For someone that I, up until literally recording, heard nothing about.
Yeah, dude, so many people have no idea who she is, and then the day after she went down and did the Morgan Wallen show in Philly because she does some of those on this tour she's doing right now. And that whole stadium was singing along to her, and they're like, she'll be the next one doing arenas. She's the next. She'll have her own arena tour within 2 years, or stadium tour. And I was like, yeah, good thing she went to this one because I don't see me buying stadium tickets for her unless they were like cheaper because those tickets were so expensive.
Dang.
Yeah, she's a hot ticket item, but she listens to her literally every single day. She goes to sleep to her at night. That's always on the radio. First thing she gets in the car, she asks to turn her on. Like that's the one. So I was like, I can't pull the Tay Tay money out of my ass, so I can at least do this one.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to provide Freya with such a cool experience.
But you're back now, so how you doing?
Oh man, like I said, I have been working myself to the bone, but got a couple plans in place, some for the show, some for my own personal entertainment as far as going to some conventions and doing some new cosplays and whatnot. So, yeah, we've got some cool things in mind. It's just not anything that I'm really ready to pull the trigger on mentioning yet, I guess is the best way to put it. But no, I got some time coming up this weekend since I managed to acquire the Fantastic Four Magic the Gathering Commander deck. I guess you, my good friend, are going to teach me how to actually play this weekend. So, looking forward to that. It's really the big thing on my docket right now.
Sounds like it's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, and then I get to go pick up a month's worth of comic books from the local comic book shop. So,
Yeah, I didn't pick up my whole month. And I literally was like, hey, I should just, when I can't make it out, I should just message you guys to pull my stuff that I want for the week. John's like, yeah, you could. I'm like, yeah, I'm dumb. And so I don't. I like finding my stuff myself. So I made a pile and I'm like, this is the pile I'm buying today. This is the pile I will be picking up as I like, because the weekly stuff is still coming out, obviously. So I'll be picking stuff out of that as I'm picking up stuff. But like, I had to get TMNT 300, so had to get that blind bag issue. Wanted to pick up Terminal number one, especially seeing that I've been watching so much of Finch working on Terminal.
you'll have to let me know how Terminal is. I have been curious about
Dude, I've watched Finch working on it. I've watched like 4 panels of those guys talking about what they're doing and how they're doing. Each book is a different artist, and each artist they've brought their own hero to this whole team thing. And I'm like, oh my God. They have me like sold. It reminds me of like the image boom of the 90s, I guess.
it. It sounds like a fascinating collaboration, is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, it's what? It's Finch, Kubert, and
Robert Kirkman.
yeah, there's Kirkman, but there's another artist. There's 3 artists on that book. And dude, when I pull the name, you're gonna be like, "Wow, did you forget that name?" And I'm gonna be like, "Cause I am an idiot."
Arthur Adams.
Arthur Adams, yeah,
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
"Cause
But
I am."
Kirkman and Joe Casey are the writers on it. Like that's no slouches either.
It is a who's who of who on that book.
Well, as fascinating as that collaboration is, we're not here to talk about fascinating collaborations. We're here to talk about fantastic collaborations, such as the one between Tony Fleece and Justin Mason. We covered Thing Volume 4, Number 1, back in episode 57. Today we are covering the second issue of that series. So let's say we go ahead and get down to brass tacks here, Shane.
Sounds good to me.
Speaking of episode 57, we did get a comment from longtime listener Bob Wright, who blesses me for being a Captain America fan. But we heard that my grim grumbling from that issue was the lineup of the Serpent Society because it was one that never really existed in continuity. And this, of course, takes place in the past with this story. But he does go on to remind us about how the Serpent Society initially debuted as the Serpent Squad. In Marvel 2-in-1 issue number 64, but he does agree that the new Death Adder in here does cause some problems with the lineup. So I'm glad to know at least I'm not crazy.
I mean, we'll go with you're not crazy for right now.
But Thanks again for touching base with us, Bob. We always do appreciate hearing from you.
I thought that Nate was an encyclopedia. You have like a very encyclopedic knowledge. There's a deep lore in there of the Marvel books.
So moving along to issue two, it is cover dated for August of 2025, but its release date was June 25th of 2025, with a cover price of $3.99. Shane, like last time, I'm gonna skip our game of the Shane Showcase. This book has not been out for very long. The value hasn't really increased or decreased so far as I can tell. So you're off the hook this week.
Sounds good to me.
So our creative team for this issue, writer Tony Fleece, penciler and inker was Justin Mason, colorist Alex Sinclair, lettering was taken care of by Virtual Calligraphy's Joe Caramanga, editor Darren Shan, and editor-in-chief CB Sobolski. Would you like to hear a synopsis of today's issue, Shan?
I would love to.
Marvel Unlimited has us covered with targeted by Bullseye. Ben Grimm must protect his former tormentor from all of the hitmen in New York. But even with his strength, will the thing be enough to fend off the world's deadliest assassin?
I didn't realize Deathstroke was in this book.
Oh, put some respect on Bullseye's name, my dude.
I'm just kidding. Oh man, I remember when we were first reading this together when it was while this was rolling out, and I remember reading. I think I finished the book before you, and I saw that they had this cover going on, and I was like, "Did you see the cover for number two?" Because I was so excited to see that Bullseye cover. So don't you think I'm besmirching Bullseye? I just have to get my jokes in.
You know what? Fair play to you, sir. Speaking of the cover artist for this issue was Nick Bradshaw, with colors by Rochelle Rosenberg. Go ahead and take us through the initial cover on this issue.
So cover A is a close up of Ben's face, and he's got a grimace on like nobody's business, and he has a bullseye carved into his forehead with a little throwing dagger stuck right into the center of it as little chunks are falling down. This is the cover I got when I picked it up. I mean, the other two covers are cool. This cover is just excellent.
Speaking of those other two covers, the second cover is by Jay Anacleto and Romula Fajardo Jr. Can you go ahead and take us through that one, Shay?
All right. So Ben is punching Hammerhead directly in the top of his head as he's making a fist with his other hand, and Hammerhead's making a fist like he's making two fists. He's like he's almost trying to drive his head through Ben's fist. You got the rubble breaking up between the two of them, and you got that dust clumping up around them. It's a real cool cover. Has real cool lighting going across Ben. Really nice textures on the suit. It's a good cover B. It kind of gives away part of the story, but at least it is relevant to the story.
And you bring up those textures, and I think that's really important to state just how much those are a credit to the talent of Romulo Fajardo Jr., who, as I said, was the colorist on this cover. Just amazing work. Everything from the brick to the threads and Hammerhead's suit, the texture on Ben's rocky hide. It's all there. Really standout work.
Oh yeah. From like a texture perspective, this is like you could do a whole class off of just this image.
And then our third cover is by artist Juan Cabal. You want to take us through that one?
Yeah, you have been working kind of as like a cat tree or like a post with a cat hanging out on top of his hand. Pink background. Ben's looking inquisitively at the cat that's perched upon his hand. It's a cool cover.
And I will also say that the texture that Juan Cabal gives Ben's hide on this is also something that should be mentioned. Very cool work with his paints on there and the gradients that he has used in order to do his shadowing and whatnot. Like the lighting and texture is incredible.
For this one, the thing that is weird for me is the trunks don't match how nicely textured Ben is.
I mean, I think he really makes Ben stand out with that texture and the fact that everything else is, I don't want to say flat, but he really brings out the rock here. Um,
Yeah, I mean when the cat stands out, the cat almost looks like it's like cut and pasted onto Ben. It
this is
looks like a
true.
real photorealistic cat. It's the pants. The pants are what throws me off in this image.
So, you picked up cover A when you bought this book. I also picked up cover A. Do you think if you had the choice, you would have went for any other cover?
I actually think I got this on a Wednesday, so I think I had the choice. I definitely only wanted cover A. I am a sucker for Bullseye.
You and me both, man. I also do enjoy me some Daredevil, especially that initial Frank Miller run.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like I think that's just part of the reason I have that thing. In the Marvel the show that was on the Disney Plus, they had that one episode where it's just him. That was like 7 minutes of pure heaven, where he's just walking around the diner. That was great.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you like watching mass murder, I'm sure it was right up your alley. It was a cool action sequence. I'm not going to take anything away from that.
I mean, you can look at it that way also, I guess.
But again, I feel like I mentioned this last episode that we covered this in episode 57. But one of the things that I really do like about this miniseries here is it strikes a perfect balance between John Byrne's Fantastic Four and Frank Miller's Daredevil. And those are two runs that I find myself, you know, having highly enjoyed or highly enjoying. And Tony Fleece and Justin Mason do an incredible job of just capturing the magic of both of those series. And that's nothing to sneeze at. No small feat.
No, definitely not.
All right. So when we open our book, the first thing we are greeted with is actually a memorial page for artist Jackson Butch Geiss, who had passed away from pneumonia in 2025. It was very prevalent artist. He did work on DC versus Marvel / Marvel versus DC. Fantastic Four wise, he did couple annuals. I believe he did annual 21 where he illustrated the Crystal backup, and then he also did Annual 22, which was a crossover with the New Mutants. But yeah, tragic passing for Jackson Guys. He
I
was
mean,
only 63 years old.
pneumonia is no joke.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely not. You think in this day and age you're safe from something like pneumonia, but it can be vicious.
That was the reason I was on nebulizer till I was 11. I
Oof.
had pneumonia super bad when I was like 1. Almost died.
Well, I'm glad you're here, man.
That's what I meant. Like, I remember when I told you and Robbie that I only win the best lotteries, which is all the ones that'll kill you. I'm the king of those.
Man, you need to enter different lotteries.
I don't feel like I even tried to enter any of the ones that I've already won.
Well, Shane, we're glad that you're here, despite all the adversity that you have faced. It's good to be able to talk to you each and every week,
I can only say I put a smile on your face because at least I'm still here. I haven't let something take me out yet.
and you never will. Our next page is a recap page, which sets up our story. Pilot Benjamin J. Grimm joined his friends Reed Richards, Susan Storm, and Johnny Storm on a fateful mission to outer space. When they were bombarded by cosmic rays, they gained incredible powers, and he became a rock-skinned monster. Now Ben is the super strong, ever-loving, blue-eyed member of the Fantastic Four, the Thing. And we get a recap of our previous issue. Shane, would you like to go ahead and read that?
Sure. Previously, Marty Flynn, Ben's childhood bully, has come to the thing for help. Marty's niece is missing somewhere in New York City. Despite Ben's lingering resentment for Marty, he reluctantly agrees to help. But their trail led to a confrontation with a seemingly superpowered gladiator, and their search is catching the attention of the head of the criminal underworld, the Kingpin. The title of this book is The King of Yancey Street, Part 2.
And we turn our page and set the scene for us here, Shane.
Yeah, literally back in the day, we have a flashback here to when Ben and Marty are younger, and Marty is bigger and a little older than Ben at the time, so he literally does bully Ben.
And we have a crowd of kids having gathered around Marty and Ben, and they are chanting,
Fight,
"Fight,
fight,
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 fight.
fight!" And Marty rears back to punch Ben in the gut. He says, "Calm down, calm down. Nobody's fighting here. We're just reminding my good friend Benjamin here that he's not allowed to creep on my kid sister." And Marty's kid sister, Shelly, pushes her way to the front of the crowd and yells, "Marty, he's not creeping. Ugh! We're assigned to the same history project. We were doing homework. If this was a fight, there'd have to be someone worth fighting. Now that Benji's big tough brother ain't alive no more. Don't you talk about my brother!" Yells Ben as he goes to take a swing at Marty. But what does Marty do here, Shane?
He trips him.
Don't you? Ah! Oh, wait a second. Maybe this is a fight after all. And he begins to pound on Ben.
Whack, 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 whack.
"Get off of me!" And we flash forward into the present, so to speak, and our caption reads, "Where we left off." And go ahead and describe Ben and Marty in the present day, Shane.
All right. Yeah. So Ben is now obviously become the thing. He is walking down the street in his good old trench coat and fedora, full detective mode, with his head facing towards the ground. Like he's trying to cover up who he is, as you can cover up a giant, what is he, 7 foot tall? Not really hiding
I
him.
don't think he's 7 foot. I feel like Ben. That is something about Ben that is interesting to me. Some artists depict him as like huge, and some just kind of depict him as like maybe a little tall or even stocky sometimes on the shorter side. Ben's height is
His official height
supposed to
is
be
six
six
foot.
foot six, if I remember correctly.
No, his official classic official height is 6 foot. Modern comics now run him at 6'6".
Okay, should be 6'6" here then, I would think.
Yeah, that's all right. So 6.5 feet. So he's definitely a whole foot taller than Marty.
And go ahead and describe Marty these days to us, Shane.
Oh yeah, Marty's wearing a jacket. He's got his little red beanie on, and he looks worse for wear. It looks like he's mostly sleeps outside.
And Marty says, "Come on, it wasn't that serious. We were just kids goofing around, right? No big deal." "If it ain't a big deal, Marty, how come every time I go back home, I gotta hear somebody tell me that you're running around talking about it?" "What, that? It's just a joke, Benji. Take it easy." "But what's the joke? What's funny about, you know, I'm the only guy on the Lower East Side who ever beat up the thing?" And Ben pauses for a moment before he cracks a sarcastic smile. "Hilarious. How about we don't do any more reminiscing? Just focus on the task at hand. The sooner we find your sister's kid, the sooner I go home and never see you again." "Oh, come on." "First priority, find the girl. Less important, but I'm still curious. Figure out why the gladiator was so stinking strong in that bar fight. He's supposed to be a regular guy strong, not superhero guy strong. The other gladiator, that's the superhero strong one, with the mohawk." "What?" And who is Ben talking about here, Shane?
So the Marvel character Gladiator or Calark, he is mostly known for being part of the Imperial Guard for the Shi'ar Empire.
And he is
He's all
very much Superman-esque.
He's extremely Superman-esque if Superman was blue and had a mohawk.
Ben continues. Anyway, Gladiator said Empire, St. Pat, and Cordoba, remember? That's the Empire State, St. Patrick's Cathedral, and the Chrysler. Midtown. So here we are. Now what? Hey, ugly! You lost? And who do we see has yelled these words, Shane?
None other than Bullseye.
And what's he doing?
He's leaning up against the street lamp, I guess, if you will, hanging out on top of East 38th Street.
Hanging out on top of the sign for East 38th Street. And Ben takes off his fedora and points towards Marty and says, Are you talking to me or him? I'm talking to you, gravel pit. Well, then, no, I ain't lost. We're looking for. And what happened, Shane?
He starts throwing a bunch of throwing stars at him. Shing, shing, shing.
And Marty lets out a yeah and takes off running across the street while Ben looks at the holes in his overcoat and says, What the? Hey, pal, maybe we haven't met. Benjamin J. Grimm, Rocky Unbreakable Skin, superhumanly strong. And he drops the coat to the street. Yeah, I know you. Idol of millions, fantastic friends, monster mood swings, heart of gold. Okay, so you know me. And you should also know then that crummy little ninja stars don't hurt me at all. Big man says you can't be here. Big man? Who the hell is?
Shing.
Ouch! And what has happened here, Shane?
He threw another throwing star right into Ben's eye.
Jeez, right in my eyeball. That's why they call me Bullseye. Just keep it moving, Jumbo. Yeah, not much chance of that now. Marty, you might want to hide behind something. And Ben rears back with his left hand and punches the lamppost that Bullseye is residing on.
Ka-slam.
But Bullseye goes ahead and does a backflip off of the signpost. Okay, don't say I didn't ask you nicely. And he goes ahead and throws three small throwing daggers towards Ben,
Swish, swish, swish.
which ricochet off Ben's arm.
Ting, ting, ting.
Come on, buddy. I told you. Unbreakable skin. Super strong. You're not gonna hurt me with these. But what happened, Shane?
Oh, Bullseye lands with the left foot directly into Ben's face with a cockroom.
Ow! What in the name of... Does everyone have super strength now? How did you... Magic. Well, I ain't got time for magic. And Ben begins to charge down the street towards Bullseye.
Yeah, with a slam, 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 as every step is literally breaking the concrete as he's running.
But Bullseye leapfrogs him. Listen, we don't have to do any of this. You can just leave. And he throws a razor blade towards Ben.
Yep,
And it catches Ben in the mouth. And Ben raises his hand to his face. Ah, come on. Did I get you? And as he pulls back his hand, you can see that he's tonguing his upper gum. Right in my thinking gum, you son of a... Enough screwing around. What do you know about this man? What do you know about this man's niece? And Ben begins to pick the fallen lamppost up off the ground. Bullseye says, You gotta be more specific. And what does Ben do here, Shane?
he starts to swing the lamppost right at him with a swoosh,
And Bullseye dodges.
with a swish.
I've killed a lot of guys' nieces. Hurrah! And Marty begins to pipe up from behind Ben. 8 years old, brown hair. Her name is... And suddenly, Bullseye catches the lamppost with his hand.
Thwap.
Whoa, both of you can calm down. I don't have anything to do with any 8-year-old girls. I'm not that kind of psychopath. You know what? And Ben catches Bullseye unexpectedly with a right cross,
Badoom!
and he goes flying down the street and impacts amongst the traffic.
Thud.
I believe him. He doesn't have the answers we're looking for. Geez Louise, Benji, look at this mess. We gotta get out of here. But Ben picks up his fedora and coat and says, Not yet. That guy was taking orders. He's somebody's guy, and that means somebody's gonna have to come through and pick him up. And we turn our attention to where Bullseye has made an impact crater on Fifth Avenue. And what do we see, Shane?
We see a gang of guys in green, what do you call that? Like
Jumpsuits?
jumpsuits. I wanted to say like
Overalls?
I don't know. I guess like work attire really. But yeah, let's go with green overalls. And ski masks and they're sliding open a van door. There's nothing shady about that as they're coming to pick up Bullseye and they're right in the middle of traffic as there's people, stopped behind them all frustrated with some honks.
And as these gentlemen pull open this white paneled van, one driver behind them yells, Will you goons hurry up and get that clown out of the road? And we see Ben and Marty watching from an alley. And Marty asks, Do you know who those guys are? Who? The goons? No, but we can assume they work for the same big man Bullseye works for. So we're just going to have to hang back a bit and wait for them to head back to work. And these gentlemen, for lack of a better term, throw Bullseye into the back of the van
Yeah, with a thump.
and then slam the door and take off down the street.
Screech.
Meanwhile, and we see a limousine speeding down a Manhattan street, and inside a telephone rings.
Yep. Ring, 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 ring.
And a gentleman in a blue pinstripe suit. We don't see his face, but we see his hand pick up the receiver. And who's on the other end of it, Shane?
Kingpin.
Yep, Wilson Fisk, the kingpin of crime, as he looks over Manhattan from his luxurious penthouse window, and he says, Benjamin Grimm almost just walked in my front door. I'm handling it. I'm heading to the location right now. Can you tell me why the Fantastic Four are suddenly sniffing around my business? Whatever happens, this product cannot be held up. I've given you a lot of leeway on this job. Was that a mistake? No, sir. We have important clients waiting. Promises have been made, and I do not break my promises. And our scene shifts once again back to Fifth Avenue, where Marty is flagging down a cab. And he lets out a whistle and yells to the cabbie, Follow that van! Don't let him get away! The cabbie says, Buddy, this ain't the movies. You want to go somewhere? You gotta give me an address or a cross street or. And Ben climbs in the rear passenger side door and begins to push on the seat. Hey, does this seat go up at all? I'm kind of scrunched. Holy crap, it's the thing! I didn't realize this was superhero business. Hold on to your tights. I'll get you wherever you need to go. And the cab takes off into traffic.
Yep, with a nice screech and some more horn honks.
And as the cab begins to weave in and out of traffic pursuing the van, the cabbie says, You know, not for nothing. Bad guys in a white panel van like that, headed south through lower Manhattan. $20 says they're going straight to some shady waterfront warehouses. And wouldn't you know, Shane, this cab driver is correct. The man knows
Yeah.
his city.
Yeah, the cabbie really does know a city.
And we see Ben and Marty watching this van from behind a shipping crate, as Ben says, Hang back here a second. Let's see if Bullseye's still conked out. If he's awake, we're gonna have to deal with all that jumping and punching again. Wait, is that your? And what does Ben see, Shane?
A little girl getting pulled out of the back of the van.
And can you describe this girl to us?
Yeah, she's got a white t-shirt over top of a pink. like quarter shirt and some well gray pants and red hair with a green beret.
And she lets out a cry of, "Let go of me!" And Marty says, "That's her. That's my niece." "Okay, Marty, go time. I'll get the goons. You get the girl." But Ben is interrupted by a honking horn
Mm.
as the limousine from earlier pulls into the docks next to the van. "Wait, who's in the fancy car?" And a blue pinstripe leg steps out of the limo, and its owner says, "What in the hell is going on here?" As the men in the green jumpsuits and ski masks take the girl into one of the warehouses. And Ben says, "Okay, almost the same plan. I'll make a ruckus out here. You go in and get the kid." And the person in the pinstripe suit says, "I got the big man calling, ripping me about superheroes now. You're supposed to be flying under the radar. Tell me you got better news here. The subjects are responding?" And Marty begins to sneak his way into the warehouse. And one of the ski masked henchmen says, "They're responding, but it still wears off after a few hours. Can the science nerds get us a little longer?" "Hey, mister, nice suit," says Ben, drawing the boss's attention. "And who is it, Shane?"
Hammerhead does have a beautiful blue pinstripe suit with a nice little rose there in the pocket. Is it supposed to be in his pocket or is it
I think it's on his lapel.
literally on his lapel? That's weird. Why doesn't he have a breast pocket?
He is an underboss for the Kingpin. Maybe he's not making that Wilson Fisk money to be able to afford pockets
Yeah, because
on his suit breast.
he doesn't even have like the regular side pockets. This is a weird suit. It's
It's,
fancy, but weird.
you know, he's got a metal plate in his head. He doesn't think about things like pockets.
He's like every girl right now because no girl pants have pockets.
I don't think that's the girl's fault there, bud.
I
You know
mean,
how
do you
many
think
women
it's
I know who complain about not having pockets? Usable
hmm
pockets? Yeah.
all the time?
Yeah.
What do you, dude? I live with a bunch of women. What do you think I hear all day long?
And Ben cracks his knuckles and says, "Gonna be a real shame to get bloodstains on it." And Hammerhead sticks his goons on Ben while saying, "Yeah, well, wouldn't be the first time." And one of the goons says, "You want us to handle this, Mr. Hammer?" "But what happened, Shane?"
A boom as the building seems to blow up from behind them.
And the henchmen and Hammerhead and Ben are all throwing forward on the docks past the limousine as we're hit with a "to be continued." All right, Shane, what'd you think of this one?
I like this one. I really feel like reading this series issue by issue is I remember reading it and I was so excited to get to next month. And it's so weird to say that because so many books anymore, sometimes they just don't entice you. Like this book, I could not wait till it dropped because I just wanted to read the next issue. And I mean, I still feel that way right now. So I would go read number three, but I have like a whole pile of books I need to go read. What about you?
Oh man, I like I said at the top, I dig this series. This just fully solidifies the mix of Byrne and Miller that has my heart super content with 1980s Marvel storytelling. And to get that in 2025 is just a treat. I'm gonna be real with you. This thing miniseries probably my favorite read of last year. I struggle to say anything bad about it at all, or criticize it in any way. It's just really fun. And, fun isn't necessarily something I expect out of what is essentially a noir detective story, which is how I view this. But here we are. Just such a treat of a book. It's great characterization for Ben. And of course, his bullseye is spot on. Hammerhead spot on. No complaints, really.
I think my favorite part is that every issue is paced well.
Absolutely.
I feel like there's not weird pauses of time between panels or between pages. Like it feels like here's a beat, here's the next beat, this is the next beat, here's the next beat. So minus the first page of the first issue that I just do not like, and we went over that last time. I generally very much enjoy this series. I don't think this was my favorite series of last year, but it's might have been my favorite mini series of last year for sure.
Hey, fair enough, man. Shall we hit our Fantastic Four of the week?
Yeah.
All right, Shane. Well, you are up first with Fantastic Frame. What was your favorite panel of this issue?
So my favorite panel was page 11, panel 1, where Bullseye lands that kick directly into Ben's head. It's always nice. I mean, obviously Bullseye's whole like shtick is that he is a bullseye and so he can hit you with throwing things at you. It's always nice to see him do a little physical combat, hand-to-hand stuff, because he's also very well versed in that. And I think people sometimes forget that.
And Justin Mason does an incredible job of just rendering the impact here. The blurred motion with his pencils and inks that he gets from Bullseye's foot, the impact on Ben. And then shout out to Joe Caramanga too, because of his Krakoom that he has in here is also just really well rendered and it blends very well with the pencils and inks and that sense of motion. Yeah, this panel very well put together and very impactful for a fight scene.
So, what was yours, bud?
So I went less for the action and a little more for the humor on mine. I went with page 17, panel 3, which is when Ben gets in the back seat of the cab. I mean, he is very obviously uncomfortable here in this panel, which makes it amusing enough. But what really sets it for me is the expression of just pure shock on the cabbie's face. I would honestly say I think this is hands down one of the funniest panels I've seen since we've started this podcast. It really made me chuckle.
What was that book where the cabbies wouldn't stop to pick Ben up? We read that. What series was that?
I don't remember, honestly.
Remember? Because like the cabbie was like, "Oh no, I don't have enough insurance for you." He's like, "No, I'm good," and then immediately goes and breaks the door off. Don't
Maybe
remember,
one of
dude.
the true believers would be able to remind us.
I don't remember. That's what this reminded me of. That whole situation. So it was extra humorous for me because I'm like, man, I remember reading a book not that long ago where Ben wasn't even allowed in a taxi cab.
Made me giggle. And maybe subconsciously that memory was also behind this for me. But I think last issue I went with him and Marty walking down the street. It's just again Ben living everyday life and the inconveniences it causes. I really shouldn't laugh at his misfortune, but Justin Mason has a way of penciling it where you get both the discomfort but also the humor out of it. And that takes talent.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good panel. Like I said, I thought it was hilarious.
My grim grumble for this issue actually it was difficult because I genuinely love this book. I had to stretch so hard for it you'd think I was Reed Richards. But we're gonna go for page 9, panel 2, which is the throwing star to Ben's eye. And I just, the question I had was, how is it that Ben takes an obviously painful, sharp-edged object to the eye, but there's no visible damage? I said I really had to reach for this one, but yeah, that's all I could get.
Oh, so I also went for something quite the same way, but mine was page 12, 1 through 3, with the straight edge getting thrown right into his gums. You know when certain noises happen or like you can see someone bite into something, you're like, ooh. I'm like, oh, the razor blade into the gums. Oh,
Yeah, though, that does its job, right? Like.
Oh,
The
it
script
did
does.
its job. It did its job, man. I that was my Grim Grumble. Dude, I struggled. You know when I finally wrote my Grim Grumble while we were still talking before we finally recorded, I had everything else filled out. I didn't know what to write,
Yeah.
and I just kept like panel surfing, and I was like, you know what? I hated the most the razor blade getting thrown into someone's gum.
Okay. You know what? And that's fair. It elicited a reaction. I get it. Yeah, and I think it just speaks to the quality of this book, quite honestly.
So I guess I'm up next for the cliffhanger, huh?
Yep. What puts you in the most suspense this issue?
Yeah,
Give me your
well,
cosmic cliffhanger, pal.
I'm not gonna. I mean, I guess it's really not a spoiler. I think you can kind of guess what it was. It's the last page of the book.
Guess what, Shane?
Uh,
That
I
was
thought
also my choice.
I thought maybe there was a chance that it was yours also. That's a great way to end a book, and when you know it's a miniseries. And the last thing we saw was a little girl getting shoved into that warehouse.
Yeah, there's that absolutely, which is the highest stakes. You also think you're getting a showdown with Hammerhead, and instead you get an explosion out of nowhere. Shelly's kid's in there, Marty's in there. I would really love to flip the page and find out more, but I can't. And it definitely had me on the edge of the seat when this book was released. I vividly remember this being the story at that point that I was waiting for the payoff from for an entire month, the most out of everything I was reading at that point. This I'll wrap us up with most fantastic player. My choice for MFP this week was the cabbie. That dude knows his Marvel New York, and he knows where his bad guys in white panel vans live.
His insurance is so high.
So the fact that they were able to go, oh crap, it's superhero business. That's a white van. I know where it's going. Like he was invaluable in this story. What about you, Shane? Who was your MFP?
I went with Ben. It's hard to not go with Ben. He fought Bullseye. He subdued him, and that led them to being able to find the niece. So I'm going with Ben.
Alrighty, and it is fair. It is his book. Well, true believers, if you would like to read this story for yourself, you can find it collected in Thing, The King of Yancy Street. It's a trade paperback that was released in January of 2026. It's also available on Marvel Unlimited or in the back issue bins of your local comic book store. So, Shane, you interested to hear what we are covering next week?
I am interested.
So, next week we are going to once again revisit the Byrne era with Fantastic Four, Volume 1, number 238.
Let's do it. Everybody's excited for Burn.
And we have a very important mystery to follow up with there, and that would be the mystery of Frankie Ray.
Oh yeah, yeah. Naked Frankie.
Love how that's your takeaway.
Uh, I don't know how that's not your takeaway. Did we read the same book?
We did. We did.
Okay.
All right. As always, true believers, your feedback is important to us. We would highly appreciate if you left us a 5-star review on Apple. Also, leave a comment or a review on Spotify. Speaking of 5-star reviews, Shane, you'll remember that we ran a contest regarding 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts.
I would remember that, yes.
Well, we are proud to announce our winner, and we apologize because we were going to do this sooner, but with my vacation and whatnot, we got a little bit held up. But the winner of that contest is Brendan McVeigh. And just as a reminder, Brendan's review was titled Best FF Pod Out There, and it read, "The Fantastic Four Fancast is the best FF podcast out there. Shane and Nate bring you panel by panel breakdowns of classic issues. The best part is that they cycle through different parts of continuity, parentheses, original Stan and Jack stuff, John Byrne, Heroes Reborn, etc., close parentheses, ensuring that things never get repetitive and the conversations are always moving. So again, thank you, Brendan, for your 5-star review. Thank you to everyone who participated in the 5-star review contest. You have won a copy of the Marvel Premiere Collection of Solve Everything by Jonathan Hickman and Fantastic Full Circle by Alex Ross. I will be getting those to you in the mail within the next week.
That is an awesome two books to have and be able to read at your leisure. I recommend the Alex Ross book first. I really love the Jonathan Hickman stuff. You can
Well, if you
read
want to
the
read them in order of continuity, I think you would read Solve Everything first and then read Full Circle. But, they're your books now. You can read them in the order you choose.
yeah, it's so good.
And true believers, you are also already listening to us. So if you haven't subscribed to us on your preferred listening platform, what are you waiting for? We'll show up in your feed each and every week. It's just going to make hearing us that much more easy on you. We are on Facebook at the Fantastic Four Fancast. We encourage you to join us there and join in on FF related discussions, share Fantastic Four related content. Please just follow the group rules and be respectful of each other. You can also follow us on Instagram at Fan4Fancast. That is FAN, the number 4, FANCAST. And finally, you can contact us by email with any feedback or suggestions at fan4fancast@gmail.com. Again, that is FAN, the number 4, FANCAST at gmail.com. Shane, do you have any final thoughts that you would like to leave the true believers with this week?
If you haven't read this, it's collected now, right?
Yeah, it's
There's
collected,
a trade.
like I said, in Thing, the King of Yancy Street, as of January 2026, Shane. He never listens to me.
I do. I do. I just don't. I thought that that was like you meant that that was the last book. I didn't realize you meant that there was actually the didn't the last issue did the last issue come out in January? Or was it December? Did they put this trade out really fast?
The last issue came out in September of 2025. The trade came out in
Wow.
January of 2026. So there was
Okay,
about a
that's about the right time. I felt like this book came out way later. That could have been just the gaps in my time of getting up to the shop. I do hate that sometimes it takes me a while to get up there. You are way more consistent than I am.
yeah, and it's crazy because you work literally like 10 minutes away
Well,
from it.
now I do.
You were saying if you haven't read this book and then
Yeah, go buy the trade.
all right, well now that he's making a boo-boo face, guess we'll end for the night.
The boo-boo face.
So he's got a point. If you haven't read this book, please go read it for yourselves. It's incredible. Like I said, it was probably my favorite series that I read of 2025.
I
Um,
mean, you can probably find that single issues for $2 right now. A year old. You can probably find them under cover price if you really want to go pick them up in singles. I mean that's your choice. I like floppies, either trades or single issues. They're definitely not giving this a hardcover. That's
oh,
sad.
don't put that out into the world. There's always hope.
Not with the new editor.
You know what? Maybe we look out one of these days. We will get Tony Fleece doing more Fantastic Four work,
That
and
would
then
be
they put
awesome.
out a Fantastic Four by Tony Fleece complete collection. Or maybe
Oh,
it's
great.
something he has no interest in doing.
I'm sure he's got a really cool Sue Storm story.
Well, Shane, thanks again for joining us. Talk about the Fantastic Four again this week. Said it's always a highlight for me. For Shane Murray, I'm Nate Charles. We hope you'll join us again next week, true believers. And until then, stay fantastic.